This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, hey all.
Hi Rajiv, hi
Hi
everyone.
Rajiv.
Hi
Hey,
Rajiv.
Kiran. How are you all?
Yeah,
Good, good.
good.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Okay, good. We'll get started.
Yeah.
Let me start sharing my screen. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah, now you can see.
So this is where we stopped yesterday, right? Any questions so far? Did you anyone get the courage to go through the safe details?
Which I didn't get a chance to. I have to see this
Oh,
video again too.
okay, okay. Sure,
Yeah.
Only during the weekend, Rajiv.
sure. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. We'll go to the next module where we'll learn about few other stuff related to our user stories. Anyway, we have written good number of user stories. We know how to do that.
Yeah.
Same case with acceptance criteria. We have already written good number of acceptance criteria.
Yeah.
Let's try to understand what are non-functional requirements and what is user experience. Okay, we'll try to understand these things. So yeah, acceptance project examples now. Non-functional requirements. What do you think is a non-functional requirement? Any of you? Have you heard of it earlier?
No.
Oh, okay. So whatever we have written so far, the user stories, whatever we have written so far, everything is functional requirements. Mostly everything is functional requirements. Non-functional requirements are things like availability, like the healthcare system that we built. It should be available. It should be up and running 99.9% of the time, right? That's a non-functional requirement. And capacity. Capacity can be things like at any point in time, I want at least 1,000. No. My website should withstand a capacity of 1,000 people, right? That can be one. Reliability, safety, security, all these things comes under non-functional requirement. So availability, capacity, reliability, safety, security, most of the things come under non-functional requirements. Let's try to understand few non-functional requirements. Database security shall meet HIPAA requirements. The HIPAA standards, right? I'm sure you guys are healthcare professionals. You should know about
Yes, yes.
HIPAA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there should be there will be some standard, right? Those standards has to be met. Yeah, the database. Of course, even if you don't meet the standards, things will work, but you will not be compliant, and your data would be at risk, right? Your data will be at risk. That's the point. The layout shall allow users to reach the profile data from any page within three clicks. Yeah, meaning this is more of a usability, like you know um, like you you should be able to navigate to, assume you have a problem, you want to navigate to customer support page, It cannot be like a treasure hunt to search where some customer support is, right? You should be able to easily navigate to that particular section without much hiccups. That's the point here. Functionality is still working, but how easily you reach that place is something we are looking, right? If a user has not changed the password for 56 days, then the system shall require a password change upon logon. Yeah, this is more of a suggestion that's given to change the credentials, right? So even if you don't change, your credentials will still work, but it is suggesting you saying that okay, your account will be at risk, right? And system shall accommodate a minimum of 3 million concurrent users, mostly during this Black Friday sale and all, right? Amazon will have these issues where have you heard of things like okay, Amazon site crashed or servers crashed because it could not withstand the load,
Yes,
right?
yes, many
Yeah.
websites.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, they have not deployed enough number of servers to accommodate the number of users. So you have to make sure you have this hardware in place to accommodate the appropriate number of users. In this case, I'm saying 3 million concurrent users. Concurrent users meaning at a time 3 million users logged in. Okay, and all web pages should load within 4 seconds. Yeah. So whenever you try to navigate from one page to the other page, or when you click on login, it should load within 4 seconds, right? So that's the performance that we need. And yeah, this is more of hardware requirement. Server room shall accommodate a future doubling of installed hardware. Server room shall be accessible authorized employees 24 hours per day, and the background color for all screens shall be some some color code. This is maybe green or blue or white, whatever it is. But irrespective of what the color is in the background, the functionality will still work. But if you have this color, it would be more pleasant, maybe pleasant, right? And yeah, system programming shall not use deprecated code, meaning any all the code that is there, it should be cleaned up, and there should not be any deprecated code. What happens if there is deprecated code? Things will still work, but the performance will reduce. Okay, so these are few examples of non-functional requirements. Any questions?
And where do we write this non-functional requirement?
Non-functional requirements can be written as a separate epic itself, or you must have written different epics for various things, right? So if you see relevancy, if you can add points in the same epic, else you can maintain a separate non-functional requirements epic itself, but it would be at the epic level. You can add points to the existing epic, like for example, you have registration module. If there is any non-functional requirements related to registration, you can add it in the same epic, or login module. If you have any requirements, non-functional requirements or login module, you can add it there. Like for example, the page, the home page should load within 4 seconds, right? Once you click on login, that is non-functional requirement for login epic, and you can mention it there. Make sense?
Yes, definitely.
Oh,
And there could be lot, right? Non-functional requirement is not, it's
absolutely,
not only
absolutely.
this mentioned.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 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 not just this. These are just examples.
Yes, yes, yes.
Based on the project, it can be more. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Sure. Any other questions, or you have any points on non-functional requirements?
Even non-functional requirements can be in user stories.
User stories. Uh,
Means
you
the detail
can
which we write
mention.
in user stories like that.
Uh, I'm thinking one example.
Because I just
See
thought
where
about this password change which is written in
hmm,
this, that
hmm.
can go in that. So I just thought to ask that question.
That itself can be a user story, right?
Yeah.
That itself can be a user story. So you can mention the points in epics, and then convert it into user stories, and the developer can make sure that non-functional requirements user story is taken care.
Okay, so that we should mention differently, not in the same one.
Yeah, you can prefix with NFR.
Okay, got you.
You can just prefix with NFR and write it so that you are able to differentiate between NFR non-functional requirements and functional requirements.
Okay, got it.
Okay, sure. Any other questions?
No, no.
I have no question.
Okay, fine. So next is, let's try to understand something on user experience. Now, what do you think is user experience? U,
It is when
UX.
the product is ready and the people or users started using,
Uh, so
and how they
basically,
experience.
yes. How are the customers experiencing the product? You know, user experience is called as UX. Okay. How are the customers experiencing the product? Are they liking it? Are they not liking it? You know? So for that, you will keep these factors in mind. There are 7 factors: useful, usable, findable, credible, desirable, accessible, valuable. So these 7 factors, defined in the UX field, uh, and we need to make sure these things are taken care of. Now let's try to understand each of these factors. So let's start from here. You assume you are building a product. Now, if the product isn't useful to someone, why would you want to bring it to the market at all, right? If it has no purpose, it is very unlikely that you'll be able to compete for attention, alongside all the market full of purposeful and useful products, right? It's worth noting that useful is the uh, you know this usefulness, whatever product that you're building, ultimately it should be useful in some way, form or fashion. Otherwise there is no point in building it, right? So like for example, take health management system that we are building. It's useful because we're able to monitor, manage, make patients, even the hospital's life easier, right? That's a useful product that we're building. So the it should be useful first thing, usable next. So usability is concerned with enabling users to efficiently and effectively achieve the end objective of the product, with the product. Like assume uh, the website that you have built, assume you have all the features in that, but what if it's not usable? What if it is not usable? What if it says uh, this is compatible only with Windows XP, which nobody has nowadays, right? So it should be usable. It should be kind of usable by all the users, right? So another layman example is, assume you have built a computer game which requires 3 sets of control pads to be used. But how can you use it? One user has only 2 hands. How can a user use a three control the three pads, right? So that's very bad very bad product that is built because we have not taken the usability into consideration, right? So yeah, now so products can succeed if they're not usable, but they're less likely to do so. Like poor usability is associated with the mostly first generation of the product. Like think of MP3 players, which lost their market share to the more usable iPod when it was launched. So iPod was not the first MP3 player, but it was the first truly usable MP3 player, right? That is on usability. Any questions so far?
No question.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Next is findable. So the findable refers to the idea that product must be easy to find. And in this fast moving digital and information world, the content within the website or product, whatever it is, it should be easy to find too. Like for example, if you're not able to find a product, obviously you're not going to buy it. That is true for all potential users of the product. Like if you have picked a newspaper and all the stories within it were you know allocated page space at random, assume it is allocated randomly and it is not sorted, it's not organized into sections like sports, entertainment, business and all, you would probably find reading the newspaper very frustrating, right? So findability is vital for user experience for many products. And assume in your website you are not able to find the place where you can reach out to customer support. Sometimes I find this problem when I go to Amazon. I'll be trying to figure out where is this customer support, where can I talk to someone, right? So that findability is very important. Okay, and then credible. Whatever product that you're building, it should be credible. You cannot fool the customers, right? So there is a saying: "Fool me once, uh, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." Meaning, you cannot fool me twice. If you are allowing me to fool me again and again, then it is my mistake, right? So yeah, today's users are not going to give you a second chance to fool them. There are plenty of options in almost every field, right? So credibility refers to the the ability of the users to trust in the product that you have provided, not just that it does the job that it's supposed to do, but it will last for a reasonable amount of time, and that the information provided with it is accurate and fit for purpose, right? The it is uh, can you think of a credible product? Like take this way, WhatsApp itself. It lost its credibility recently when security questions were raised, right? Data security questions were raised. It lost its credibility and many uninstalled their application, right? That's one example. So does it make sense so far?
Yes, Rajiv. Yes.
Okay. Next is desirable. Now, Skoda and Porsche both make cars. They are to some extent, both useful. They are both useful. They are both usable. They are both findable. No, they're both credible also. But Porsche is much more desirable than Skoda, right? This is not to say that Skoda is undesirable. They have sold a lot of cars under that brand. But given a choice of a new Porsche or a Skoda for free, most people would opt for Porsche, right? Because that's the desirability factor that it has built. It's conveyed in the design through branding, image, identity. So design and everything. The no the most desirable the more desirable a product is, the more likely it is that user who has it will brag about it and create desire in other users, right? Create desire in other users. So you talk a lot about good products. That's desirability. And then we have accessibility. Have you heard of something called as accessibility requirements, Richard? Accessibility requirements.
Is it related to the product?
Yes.
So it's like how it's accessible, the product, but in the sense of operation, like operating.
Okay. So accessibility requirements are mostly for specially abled people or differently abled people. like partially blind people or other people. So even they should be able to access your website, right? It's about providing an experience which can be accessed by users of a full range of abilities. Right? It can be those who are disabled in some respect, like hearing loss, impaired vision, motion impaired, and learning impaired, and all, right? So maybe uh, since we might not see it, but somewhere at some place, some corner, all the websites and all the apps would have mentioned this accessibility requirements or should have mentioned this accessibility requirements, because by law that should be there, actually, right? So because in United States, at least I feel, at least 10% of the people have that disability, and we should not miss out on that target, right? Even they should be able to use the product. So the accessibility requirements has to be met. Okay, by law it should be there. And if you open any well known app, it will have accessibility somewhere in settings. You can check that. Okay.
Okay.
And then valuable. Finally, the product must deliver value. It must deliver value to the business which creates it and to the user who buys it or uses it. Without value, it is likely that any initial success of the product will eventually be fading away. So, you should bear in mind that value is one of the key influences of purchasing decisions. Like, assume $100 product that solves a $10,000 problem is one that is likely to succeed, right? You never want to pay a uh, $10,000 for a product that solves just $100 problem. That will not work out. So obviously that value for money should be there, right? That's when it succeeds. So this is about the user experience. There's 7 factors that we need to keep in mind when we're talking about user experience. Okay. Any questions here?
No.
So Rajiv, this is very well understood. But the same other thing I have written in my note that I want to know about user interface.
UI. So
Mm-hmm.
that is UI. UI, it's usually called as UI UX. UI is more on how should the web page look? How should where should the button be? Where should the button be? What color it should be? That is all UI. UI designing. User experiences after building the product, or no, how is the user experiencing the product? Is it a good experience? Is it a bad experience? Obviously, if you have a good UI, the UX would be better. The user experience will be better if you have a good UI,
Correct.
So that
right? But
means this
uh,
should be kept in mind while building the product, right?
yes, definitely, definitely.
So from the time we write the user stories for that particular product, whatever we have to include, should have all this in mind.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. You should have all these
Okay.
things in mind.
Okay. So
Um,
this goes from the beginning.
Yes, yes, that's right.
Okay.
so I have just want to add something for everybody. If and Rajiv, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So
Uh-huh.
sometimes this one can be used. So what happened when they are building a product? So they are sometimes they are making in the initial phase MVP product, that is a minimal viable product, just to try. And that
Mhm.
time they also um, put this one for the user experience, right, Rajiv? And they check how it
Yeah,
goes.
yes, yes, that's right.
Okay. And
Absolutely.
then with the change, if they want to add any change, then they can go further for the actual product.
Correct, correct, yeah. And also there will be something called as A/B testing, meaning for a few users they release in a fashion A. For few users they release in fashion B. Like they will
Yeah.
have a login button at a right corner for few users and the left corner for few users, and then see
Which
which
is
is working, yeah, which is working better.
uh,
So all such things will happen.
okay. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Mhm.
any other questions?
Not regarding
No.
this. Check if
We'll move on. We'll move on.
So, Rajiv, is this our last topic for the course?
No, we have few other things. I'll
Okay.
cover basics about testing and few other things about Kanban, which
Okay.
I think I already covered, but we can quickly cover it. And also difference between Scrum and Kanban.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, uh, any reason, Ami? You want to know anything more?
No, because I see all the plain slides. That's why I'm like, is this the
Oh, no, no,
last
no.
slide?
I
That's
think
why.
it is a issue. It's a issue. Yeah.
Oh,
When I click
okay.
it, it comes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So the next module is about lean overview and principles. So wherein we'll talk about levels of organization maturity. It's again more of a little theoretical and high level. And then, we'll try to understand Kanban principles, Kanban boards, continuous delivery, and the difference between Kanban, Scrum, and Scrumban. We'll try to understand the difference between these three. Okay. So maybe we'll start with levels of organization maturity. Basically, this says how does the organization grow from a startup to a much matured organization, right? How does it move? So it moves from level 1 to level 5. Level 1 is more like, where it's more of a startup mode. Where in this level, the company is dependent on mostly spreadsheets and the it would be mostly ad hoc analysis that we done. Everything is like kind of guesswork, and there is nothing proved to say that, or there is no way to prove saying that whatever we are doing is right. It's all guess, right? It's all guesswork kind. So yeah, that is how the organizations or startups will be, in chaotic mode, and slowly they will start developing. They'll move to the developing phase where the company is rising above the information chaos. They'll start having managers. They realize that they need tighter controls over the means to enter, ensure they can meet the customer demands. Like that's when they'll start, buying Jira licenses. Maybe they'll start having projects in place. Maybe they'll start grouping people into different projects. The structure, little structure, will start, the structure of the teams and other things would be formed, right? And then we have the alignment phase, where usually the organizations, they try to align to the company-wide standards, meaning uh, so the you know they want to they see similar organizations, successful organizations, how they have succeeded, what are the practices that they have followed. So take a leaf out of the best practices that they have followed and see if you can implement in your organization, and taste the success. That's how you try to align to the company wide standards, or the industry standards, I can say. So yeah, you want to take the behaviors of larger and successful companies, larger and successful companies. And then we have integrating analytics into the enterprise, wherein uh, you'll start having decisions. You'll start taking decisions based on data, meaning the leadership team wants to use data across the enterprise. Like example that I put is booking.com. They take notice and elevate the initiative to the CI and CFO. Meaning you take decisions based on data. Like take this booking.com itself. Okay, how many people are coming to this website? How many out of those people, out of that, how many people are actually booking? If people are not booking, why are they not booking? Where are they stopping? Are they checking for more offers? And is it that we are not giving more offers, or are they not able to find the appropriate routes? Where is it failing? So for all that, data would be very critical. So you will start relying on data for better understanding and serving the customers better. Okay, and then optimize data driven performance. Here, the company has fully implemented a data driven approach to the business decision process, meaning they'll take every decision based on data. Like example taken is C-suite. Here, they firmly defined established the role of a chief analytics officer and chief data officer, where they'll have roles at that level. Just imagine having roles defined at that level. So every each and every decision would be taken based on data, based on data. So it's not, there is no emotional intelligence, there is no customer customer of course would be there, but then customer demand would be there, but then even the customer demands or customer asks are validated based on data. If data says that it's not valid, then you can go back to the customer and say, look, I think this will not work. So all the decisions mostly would be taken based on data. Okay, so this is the one organization grows from a startup to a well matured organization. And yeah, any questions here? Nowadays, you see the importance of data, right? So it's all about data. Any questions? I think I'm putting you guys to sleep.
No
No,
question,
no
Raju. No, I was
questions.
just reading. Yeah, no question.
Okay, sure, fine. Okay, next is on Kanban. So we have Kanban principles. There are 4 Kanban principles. We have seen this Kanban board earlier, right? I've
Yeah.
also explained
Yes.
about this, how Kanban looks, and we also saw in Jira. So keeping that in mind, let's try to understand the Kanban principles. There are 4 principles. First one is visualize workflow, meaning you will be able to visualize how the work flows from start to the end, right? So that is one feature that the Kanban has. Principles. Limit work in progress, wherein you say, look, at any point in time, I don't want more than 3 items in development. I don't want to dump everything into development, or I don't want to dump everything into testing. So you limit that number. You decide that number and limit, saying that, look, this is the limit. At any point in time, there cannot be 3 items in any of the phases. So once the backlog or 3 items that's there is done, only then I'll pull more. Otherwise, I'll not pull more. So you have to limit that work in progress. Meaning, you have to set that limit for work in progress. And then focus on flow. Meaning the focus would be on flow. Meaning you cannot skip any steps. You have to follow this flow. It has to be like, it has to go through engineering ready, and the development has to be completed, and testing has to be done, and then it has to be released. So you have to focus on the flow and continuous improvement, meaning at any point in time, over a period of time, you feel that uh, the one of these steps is no more relevant, it doesn't make sense, then you remove that step. You optimize you optimize by saying that, okay, this step doesn't make sense anymore, we'll remove it. So you need to continuously revisit and see which steps doesn't make sense in the flow, and remove it accordingly. Okay, that is the continuous improvement. So yeah, these are the 4 principles of Kanban. Just like how we had a Scrum values and principles, right? Even Kanban has few principles which I wanted to just highlight.
So Raju, this Kanban and in Jira, we saw the board.
Uh-huh.
Does this run parallel, or this is a different, totally different?
No, no, same. See, there also you see, you are able to visualize the workflow. Okay, it is in to-do state, and then we have engineering ready, development in progress, testing done. You are able to visually see that workflow, and you are able to limit. You can always set that limit, saying that the Scrum Master, or you can say that, look, uh, you know, any developer at any point in time should be working on only one task. any one task should be development in progress. That limit you can set, and focus on flow. Like you see how the flow is, right? You have to follow that flow. And continuous improvement, assume you have a state like testing ready for test in progress, testing done, right? If you have three phases like that, if you see it doesn't make sense at any time, then you can go ahead and remove, couple of phases there, right? Stages, phases. Make sense?
Yes, and Raju, can you pull out that the yellow chart thing, the next page of this one?
Previous next. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So this all the development, testing, the all the phases, it will be updated by their team when it's done, right? And we can see how it
uh
progress.
can you come again?
Okay. So once we released everything in the sprint,
Hmm.
and this all set of the thing like developing, testing, then release, it
Hmm.
will be updated when it's done by that specific team, right? They will update it, and then we can see across the board like what has been done.
Yes, yes. In Kanban, we can see live. Every day we'll have this daily stand-up meeting, right? In
Hmm.
that we'll be going through the Kanban board, right? So we can see as and when the progress happens. You remember a
Okay.
Kanban board?
I think we did in beginning or like
One second,
yes,
let me
yes,
open
yes.
that. Okay, this
Similar
is a
in Jira.
different, yeah, yeah. This is a different board, actually, different project that I was doing. But yeah, this is how we also had a Kanban board, right?
So this is called dashboard. Dashboard,
This
right?
is no Kanban board. It's called
Okay.
as Can board here, but it's nothing but a Kanban board,
It's a
Yeah,
Canva. Okay.
got it.
right?
So
Sure.
what is the dashboard? Is it different than this?
Dashboard. Jira dashboard. Dashboard is different. You can create a dashboard. Yes. Where is
It's
that?
right there
Oh,
next
it's
to
here, right?
filters.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You can create dashboards. You can create dashboards. It's more of a,
More of the data,
metrics
right?
data, which
Data.
is more useful for Scrum Masters and project managers.
Got it, got it, got it, got it. No, so I studied in some videos and that's why it just
Oh,
stuck in my mind.
understood, understood.
Got it, got it.
Okay, sure. Any other questions?
No, I don't have.
Okay. How about others?
No.
No, Raji.
Okay. Sure, then we'll stop here for today and we'll continue tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure then.
Bye.
Thank you, Raju.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.